Four, three, two.
Hi, my name is Jack Steele, aka Banker Y. The reason why I'm using Banker Y is because Banker X was already taken. Here I am. I used to work for a large financial institution. It was one of those too big to fail. But what's happened is they're now too stupid to live because basically what they've decided is they've basically let go my department. There are about 16 people in there. We basically had a meeting on early August. It was with the boss's boss, who had only met with us twice. The first time was 4 years ago to say that he was hired, and the second time was to basically say that we were fired. But the way he really read it was that your jobs are moving to another state, and you're not. So, how that works is it's a bit discouraging. You then look at your options. Here I am. I'm 53, as I said. I share an office with a 32-year-old. The 32-year-old gets calls left and right, and unfortunately, he doesn't like to travel to other cities like Stanford and wherever else, and I get his sloppy seconds. But when I go and inquire about the sloppy seconds, no, we don't have a job anymore. You're too old. They don't say it that way. They use the infamous words, you're too experienced. So what's happened is I got a chance to look at what was going on in terms of the internet, etc., and on television. I got a chance to see the Jon Stewart's The Daily Show. Loved it. Great concept. The idea of looking at what was happening in terms of politics, making commentary, making light of it, but at the same time having, there's an undercurrent where you're producing a message that you really need to start caring about what's happening to America. Well, I thought, when I look at all these sportscasters, and they're all these, they're ex-football players, they're ex-baseball players, they're ex-boxers, they make commentary on sports. On any given night, when you look at 30 minutes of the news, there's basically 7 minutes of sports every night on every channel. Everybody cares, what happened to the Giants, the Jets, and the Cardinals, whatever else. In a way, we spend so much time on that, we don't really discuss the stories and the news events that are really occurring and really happening. So, what I decided, I would act as like a crazy sports announcer. I would be a local sports announcer who had a wrestling point of view. That was his background. His commentary on everything was with body slams and elbows and smashes and bear hugs. And that's how he would view sports. But instead of viewing 5 minutes of sports, he would take time out and only do 2 minutes of sports. Very quickly, the big picture, who won, who lost, never mind the scores, never mind anything else. And what he would talk about things that bothered him. And one of the things that bothers me right now is that when you look at what's happening with these people on Wall Street, the Wall Street reform people talk about, we have a march on Wall Street, and they got $230,000, and all they're going to do is stand, and we're going to change Wall Street. And then you have this gentleman, the Kane, who advocates 9999. Wonderful idea, but now we're going to have taxes on everything. Everything that you purchase is not only going to have a sales tax, but a 9% on it. So if you buy an automobile and you have 6% sales tax, you now pay 15% for your automobile. Is he nuts? The only word that I could think is 9, exactly what the Germans say, that is no, you're not going to do that. If you're going to talk about cost reductions, one way is raising revenue, another way is looking at costs. The bottom line that has happened in terms of our political system is that you have politicians that make it for years and years and years. They have the ability basically to start a career at age 22 and live on to 70. You're talking about 50 years in office doing public service, allegedly. But my point is we have too much big government. They always talk about big government. The solution came actually from the people who lived in this country before us, the Indians. They used to make fun of white men who came and just said, oh, we draw lines in the sand, and this is the state of Virginia. This is the state of West Virginia. Well, what I want to do, I want to make politicians feel exactly what has happened to America when we have mergers and acquisitions. I want to have mergers and acquisitions of states. I want to have where West Virginia and Virginia merge, and one of those governors is going to be out of a job because we won't need them. I can see it when you look at Canada. Canada is the same size as the U.S. In fact, it's actually larger when you don't count Alaska and Hawaii. And yet, they only have 10 provinces. We have 48 states, 48 continental states. Why? I am 53 years old. I was born in 1958. In 1959 was the last time we changed this map. The last time we added Alaska, the last time we brought in Hawaii. We've talked about adding Puerto Rico for it's literally 30 years and they don't want it. And we've talked about splitting New York City out of New York for another 30 years. All of this is just nonsense. All that's happened is you're not dealing with the fact that there needs to be some consolidation with the U.S. and you don't need all of this duplication. All this North-South. You don't need North and South Carolina. You need the Carolinas. You don't need North and South Dakota. You need the Dakotas. You don't really need Idaho and Montana or whatever. Whatever is next to each other, you don't need all of this. You can just logically start to say what states, in terms of their ideology and in terms of how they work together, would be better merged. Well, sorry, can you cut that for 1 second? And just pause. I didn't realize this goes on. So if you like this idea in terms of creating states that can be commingled or merged in terms of their ideology, then what I'm also suggesting is that you show support in helping to make this video known to other people, your friends, etc. Make it have hits. And instead of going viral, you make it go virile. Because we made up a word. The word was viral for virus. There's no reason why something has to be good if it's viral. It's much more effective if it's strong and it's virile. So again, help Banker Y to go viral. Help Banker Y to at least be a commentary in terms of a new idea within the country. That's all I want to help create. If you're thinking of sending to the people on Wall Street, all well and good, but I'd rather that you open up a poster or open up a website or a link to my video. Anyway, thank you for listening and have a nice night. Good night.